Good morning, everyone. Clint McLaughlin here, Midwest Market Management. I've got Riley Sykart on with me here today. It is Tuesday, July 7th. Riley, we got some Sunday night post 4th of July fireworks, bean market, corn market on fire out of the gates last night, or Sunday night, rather. Just accelerated really throughout the day. Took a couple periods of a breather there, but didn't really want to sell off. And here today, it's kind of a little bit of a back and fill day, but certainly we've got, I wouldn't call it a massive shift in the forecast, but certainly a combination of two things. They put some heat back in and dried out the 6 to 10 day a little bit here. So not to spoil everything, but let's hop into the maps here and see what we got in store.
Sounds good. So first thing I do have that came out last night was crop conditions. First off with corn conditions overall unchanged. Eastern belt actually too wet. That's why conditions have dropped. Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, all the above over there to the east. And then in the west, they've gotten some rains in South Dakota to help them out, and everywhere else is kind of more of the same. So not really anything too exciting to add when it's an overall zero change. Beans down 1%. The ones that I don't have figured out, Clint, if we can find anybody to give us some context, North Dakota down 10 and Michigan down 10. So I know they're too wet in the east. I can somewhat understand that, but North Dakota being down 10, I guess I don't have a rhyme or reason for. So with that said,
I don't either. North Dakota, Michigan, I honestly haven't been paying as close of attention as I should. You know, that line of moisture, Riley, has really been running from like Texas up to, northern Illinois, Indiana, Ohio. And it seems like the south, the southern portions of those Indiana, Ohio, Illinois, have been kind of getting more. I wonder if that moisture hasn't been making it up to Michigan. So we'll look at the maps here and see what we see.
Sounds good. First thing I do have are 1 to 5 day temperatures. I would call this 1 to 5 day as close to ideal as it gets. Unless you're looking down in Texas where they're in the upper 90s for averages, but everywhere else, low to mid 80s. I mean, you can't ask for anything better than that this week, especially coming after the heat dome that we had last week. But it doesn't look like this trend is sticking around. Like you mentioned earlier, Clint, if you move the 6 to 10 day, the heat's coming back. The one region I really want to point out is these western regions of Nebraska, South Dakota, and even some of North Dakota, states that they've just been continuing to get enough Band-Aids to keep them going, but they're definitely not at a surplus of moisture right now. If this heat sticks around there for a significant amount of time and this forecast stays dry like it's been showing right now, right there's your big storyline as to what on the weather side as to why weather's helped fuel the fire of a rally here to start off the week. So I think those are definitely states that everyone's paying close attention to. If you look towards the eastern belt, they could use some dry weather to dry out. In Wisconsin as well as central Iowa, I wouldn't say there's a giant surplus of moisture, but at the same time, I would say you could go a week, 10 days without rain and still be just fine with 90 plus degree temperatures. So looking at the last 2 weeks of rainfall, some of this is a little deceiving, but overall, everybody got some type of rainfall. I can speak for in central Iowa. I do know there was about a 40 to 50 mile range where they did get 8 to 12 inches of rain over a 2 day stretch. So for guys that are in those areas that aren't shown on this map, we do understand that you have issues and it is there. But from an overall perspective, over the last 2 weeks of the amount of rainfall when you're getting into the first week of July, that much rain in the mix has been bad for the markets. And that's why we were at the depressed levels we were until yesterday's big shoot up. So Moving ahead here, 1 to 5, still some shots at some rain. Looks like tonight through Thursday, there's some scattered chances through a lot of the states. Amounts have changed a lot depending on what time you're looking and what weather model you're looking at. So I can't really speak to how much is going to come, but looks like some people are going to get something. So now to the 6 to 10 day, where this is where all the chaos has been drummed up. You can see that's a very dry forecast. And at this point, we're getting into the mid-July timeframe where a lot of corn is starting to pollinate. So if the rain fully shuts off right now for the rest of the year, there could be a real weather story, but it's definitely way too soon to assume that's going to happen. But overall, I'd say, Clint, from a national yield perspective and the way we look at things, this could be a start of something to really hurt the overall crop size, but it is way too soon to say that we're taking off the trend line yield potential that I would say as of today is still out there.
I would agree. And I mean, you do have to realize this is coupled with heat too. So then, it's a combination of what really happens. And then the bigger thing to me is going to be, is this going to extend into the second half of July? Because I don't think that the Dakotas really have the ability to sustain this for another 2 weeks after that. So, I think the market will be a little bit slower to react, from here until we see some confirmation of what happens throughout this period.
Yep. And to go into that, the 1 to 13 day, the 1 to 5 has enough scattered stuff that it keeps this forecast looking a lot wetter than that 6 to 10 day shows. So like you mentioned, it's hard to get too bulled up from a market standpoint when you still see that much color on the maps. So the potential is there, but we don't really know until we're there and the forecasts are showing what's going on. So for right now, all we can do is what we always do, Clint, report what's going on and go with the numbers that we have. So with that said, that's it for maps today.
Sounds good, Riley. I appreciate you putting the maps together again. Clint McLaughlin, Riley Sykard, Midwest Market Management. Thanks a lot and have a great day. Okay, so now
this material has been prepared by a sales or trading employee or agent of Midwest Market Management and is in the nature of a solicitation. This material is not a research report prepared by of Midwest Market Management Research Department. By accepting this communication, you agree that you are an experienced user of the futures markets capable of making independent trading decisions, and agree that you are not and will not rely solely on this communication in making trading decisions. Distribution in some jurisdictions may be prohibited or restricted by law. Persons in possession of this communication indirectly should inform themselves about and observe any such prohibition or restrictions. To the extent that you have received this communication indirectly and solicitations are prohibited in your jurisdiction without registration, the market commentary in this communication should not be considered a solicitation. The risk of loss in trading futures and/or options is substantial, and each investor and/or trader must consider whether this is a suitable investment. Past performance, whether actual or indicated by simulated historical tests of strategies, is not indicative of future results. Trading advice is based on information taken from trades and statistical services and other sources that of Midwest Market Management believes are reliable. We do not guarantee that such information is accurate or complete, and it should not be relied upon as such. Trading advice reflects our good faith judgment at a specific time and is subject to change without notice. There is no guarantee that the advice we give will result in profitable trades.